Good day, poker peeps. This is Sky with Smart Poker Study, and in this video, I'm going to play a 20-minute focus session where everything is intent on trying to make as many positive EV steals as possible. So you can see down on the bottom right screen right there, my little play with purpose. Now, this is an action step that I gave you within the book Preflop Online Poker in Subdomino 2.1 called Stealing Fundamentals. Let's go and open up one table of quick fold poker. And the reason for the quick fold is so we can see hands, bam, one after the other. We could take a look at the players in the blind, see who are good candidates for stealing against, all that kind of stuff. Let's, here we go, make it a little bit prettier, a little bit bigger. I'm just going to fold here. So here's the play with purpose from that chapter. Focus on the three players to your left and how they'll respond to steals. Steal every time it's positive EV. That's a critical thing. This chapter is all about getting you to steal more often, especially when you're in the cutoff and the button. And those three players to your left, well, they're the ones that you have to be concerned with when you are stealing. Let's see here. Do they fold a lot, or will they fight back with frequent calls or 3-bet re-steals? Before you steal, know what you'll do versus a 3-bet re-steal, and prepare for post-flop play in case you get called, right? You just stole from the cutoff, the button. They might call, or they might 3-bet. Have a plan for it. Think ahead a little bit. Take notes and tag questionable hands for later review. So this is what we are focused on for today. Just going to fold at this point, but we will fold and stay. You can see we're on the button. Let's take a look at the three players to our left. Well, that one's under the gun. These two right here, relatively unknown, but kind of a short stack player, looking like he likes to play a lot of hands. Right over here, tight aggressive player, folds to steals 64% of the time. A pretty good player to be stealing against, right? In the small blind, probably in the big blind as well. Let's take a look at his 3-bet percentage. 3-bet. Oh, he likes to use the small blind as a steal percentage. That player did. So maybe when he was in the small blind like that part right there, I have to but I have to kind of expect more 3-bet re-steals from that player in that position right there. So I could steal here. Don't like the hand whatsoever. I generally confine my steals in the cutoff to like roughly a 20-22% range or so. If you've ever seen my KISS cash game ranges, which I give you in the book Preflop Online Poker, you can see that that's not one of the stealing hands. 4-5 off, definitely not. But you can see what the 20-22% range looks like. Now, right here, let's imagine we were this player on the button. A very loose aggressive player with a high 3-bet. I know it's a small sample, but he looks really loose aggressive, and lags try to use small blind or the small blind position as a really scary 3-bet position, right? They like to bluff you a lot from there. And this player being 1918 tight aggressive, definitely capable of folding. You can see he folds to steals 85%. So not a bad situation. Whoa, look at that 4-bet right here with pocket tens as a short stacker and getting lucky on that river. Good for you, short stack lag. So we're in a steal position right now. Unknown, looking kind of passive, doesn't really like to fold to steals, but we don't see a ton of calls, right? I'm sorry, 29%, we do see a ton of calls. I was looking at the wrong stat. If we raise, he might call. We might have to make our raise a little bit bigger. Don't like the hand, but I'm more focused on the players, three to my left, like I said right here. I have him color-coded green, which symbolizes a fish, but he only plays 16% of hands, raises 4%, no 3-bets yet, and high fold to steal. Great player to be targeting. This player down here, I can't remember what his head was, sorry. His HUD was. Didn't get to that. Now, out of the big blind, not a good spot to defend. Let's see what this player's raise first in under the gun is. MP 22%, kind of high. But still, he's under the gun. I don't really have that good of a hand to defend with. Definitely not to call with, and not really good to 3-bet with either. Just going to fold. Good. Stealing on the button. Terrible hand to do it with, right? Like, generally, my button stealing range is anywhere from 30 to 35% or so. This is like a bottom 3% range. 97% of hands are better than this one. I'm definitely not stealing. But let's take a look at our opponents. Folds to steal 70, folds to steal 64%. Altogether, they fold roughly 50%. If you multiply 0.7 times 0.64, you'll get like 46% or so. That's how often they fold together. Oh, very nice. So he's in the MP. Raise first in is only 13%, but he does like to fold a lot. So I'm going to use this opportunity to 3-bet re-steal. Really strong hand. Use a good sizing too, which should scare him off quite a lot of his range. He could call with weaker hands. Ace-Jack and Ace-10 as well. Let's see what happens. Cool beans, worked. Ace-Deuce, we're in the MP. Generally, I do not steal that often from the MP unless it's a really good opportunity. And this is kind of a good opportunity. We've got two tight aggressive players who are more likely than not going to give up their position. Look, they did that. We have a tight aggressive here and an unknown. I made it, and it worked. Made it the full 3 big blinds against 3 tags and an unknown. That was a good spot with any ace to be opening, even though the MP isn't a steal position necessarily. It's just a king 4. We've got a lag and a fish right here. I don't see my steal having a good chance of success. What is this player's 3-bet percentage? Oh, it's very small on the button. He likes to use the blinds for 3-bet stealing. We have an unknown player and a fish. I'm just going to fold this one, but let's watch the action. Let's see what happens right here. He steals and a fold. Gina Sue, let's try to learn a little bit of something about this unknown player. Take your time. We're not in a hurry. Oh, got a 3-bet. Now, we expect, of course, he's a loose aggressive player. Folds only 46% after raising. Best position. We do not expect to fold right there. But he's got to be scared if he doesn't have something that hit this board. Those 3 cards strike a 3-better's range really hard. Ace King hit a gut shot. King Queen hit a straight. Ace Queen hit an open ender. Pocket 10s, 9s, jacks hit trips, right? Not the best of boards if he didn't like his hand, but he probably likes it because he came out firing on the flop when he checked him. No, goes all in, so he has Jack 10 2 pair or Jack 10 full house. We'll see, or we'll never know, I guess I should say. 75. This is the kind of hand I occasionally defend against steals. Now let's look at these 2 players. If we were right here or here, I don't know anything about this player. Digital Midget might be a good player to steal against. As you can see, no HUD popped up means I don't know anything about him, right? But me right here, knowing how I generally play, currently after 10 hands, my fold to steal is 100%, but generally my fold to steal is somewhere between 80 and 90% or so. I fold a ton. I'm a good opponent to be stealing against. And I don't defend from an MP raise with 7-5 suited. I'm not going to do anything here, but let's take a look. So this is one of those tough spots, especially when you're in the cutoff. When you have 3 loose aggressive players on the button, small blind, and a big blind, it really makes your steal attempt so much less likely to work and much more likely to face a 3-bet at a minimum. You're going to face a call from one of those 3 players, but you're going to face a 3-bet quite often as well. So you're better off not stealing unless maybe you have a decent ace blocking hand, or you even have a hand like ace 10, ace jack, ace 9 suited that you're really not too scared. Scared's not the right word, but you're not too concerned about going post-flop with it against loose aggressive players because you got that good ace, decent kickers, willing to take them on. And of course, mid and strong pocket pairs you're going to open raise as well. Suited connectors and stuff, things that are playable, you know. Let's just go to the next hand. I wasn't watching the action. I can't commentate on what's happening exactly. Pocket deuces, cut off, tag semi. Oh, he only 3-bets 3%. Yeah, kind of a tag player as well. But we got a tight aggressive, a tag open raiser at almost a full stack right here. I think he likes his hand. If I call, I give this 3-better a really good opportunity to 3-bet squeeze. I just don't like calling right there with 4 players yet or 3 players yet to act. Even though I have a set mining opportunity, I generally don't do it. Oh, look it. I avoided that right there. My call would have given him a much better squeezing opportunity. He could have made it 10 or 12 big blinds. Because with a stat or with a HUDs with stats at 21-16, he obviously uses a HUD. If he uses a HUD, he knows I'm a tight aggressive player as well. If I just call, that means I don't have some of the best hands worth 3-betting. I don't have aces, kings, queens, jacks, or 10s. I don't have ace, king, nor ace, queen. Probably not even ace, jack right there when I just call. So I'm telling him I'm weak when I call there. And I wasn't watching the action. He 3-bet the ace hits. Of course, that big bet's going to take it down. Oh, holy stromboli. Lucky hand to be recording. I am recording, right? Whew. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Might be an unlucky hand. Nice. So I'm going to make my standard 3-bet 12 big blinds right here. We'll see what he does. He is a tight aggressive player in his steal spot, but he could easily have a hand that he wants to play against me. Wow, flopping that top set. So I 3-bet. I have to c-bet. I'm just going to c-bet half pot. I'm going to tie him down a little bit, make him think I might have ace queen, ace jack, maybe pocket kings that hates that ace. I'm going to bet, and I hope he has ace queen, ace jack, and he comes over the top. hope he doesn't have, okay, maybe he had 10s and he folded. Oh well. But I got some decent pre-flop value out of him. And one of the good things, so even when you flop top set, you never want to frown. I'm sorry. Yeah, what I should say is never frown when you take it down. I flopped top set, had a really good hand, but let's see, fold 67, fold 81, definitely going to steal right here. Even though they're both loose aggressive players, we see no three betting, and then he folded a decent amount to steal, so it was a good spot to do so. What was I saying? Yeah, never frown when you take it down. I potentially missed out on some value. Maybe I should have made it 1/4 pot. Maybe I should have just checked behind right there. But because he called a 3-bet from me, and I didn't know too much about him, he could easily call with any ace. I know there's only one ace left in the deck, but he could have called with ace 10, ace queen, ace 5 suited, that kind of stuff. He could have even had, like, I don't know, pocket jacks that he wasn't willing to fold to the first bet on the flop. So I think if I would have checked there, I'm missing out on value for the most part. So I'm happy with that value bet. One of the good things about it too, like I was about to say earlier, was that when you bet and they fold, they never know what you had. For all they know, you had ace king, pocket kings, pocket tens. You had pocket fours and just made a bluff. Who knows? They'll never know what you had right there, or what I had in this instance. All right, so I'm expecting an open raise. Good. He on the button 22%, fold 0% right here. Raise, fold 0 on the button, 0 out of 9. So if I 3-bet, he is not folding. I would rather just call right here, because part of the reason to make that 3-bet is because I have some fold equity. Over 1,000 hands, he's shown that he does not like to fold. Why would I 3-bet unless it was strictly for value at that point? I'm going to feel him out, and here's why. He c-bets the flop a ton at 83%. I'm going to time down a little bit. I'm going to check, and if he checks behind, I am firing this river 100%. I don't care what the card is, I'm firing. And he double barreled. Look how turn honest he is. So he actually probably has something. Maybe he just now hit a king. Maybe he just has a 9. Maybe he has pocket queens. Whatever it is, he's got me beat. There's no reason for me to call here. I fold. But that was just calling on the flop with the opportunity to bluff later on. Let's take a look at this spot. So we have two players in the blinds here. Loose aggressive who likes to 3-bet a decent amount. Oh, and he likes to 3-bet out of the blinds. So if you're going to steal against a player who loves 3-betting out of the blinds, kind of just expect it. And if you have a hand that you would hate facing a 3-bet with, just don't steal. Don't do it. He's shown the propensity to either call or 3-bet re-steal. Just expect it when he's done it so often in the past. Or what you could do, if you want to kind of really convince him to fold, convince him of the strength of your hand, you could make it bigger, 3.5, 4 big blinds in order to head off the 3-bet. But then again, if he doesn't want to 3-bet, he's so loose aggressive, he's probably just going to call you. You're going to go post flop. So only against a player who you think is 3-bet stealing a ton from you, basically restrict your ranges to hands that you don't mind facing the 3-bet or hands that you don't mind calling and going post flop with. Under the gun, unknown, a short stack right here, making it 3 big blinds. My hand's not good enough to compete with one other player yet to act to. But let's see what happens at this point. Oh, we got a call. Would have flopped top pair, top kicker, but that doesn't matter. I think my fold is just fine. 4.8, nice sized bet right there. You see that pot's growing, that stack is shrinking. He's getting slightly more committed, half a pot. Do you just have ace king, ace queen, king jack? Oh, he likes his hand. He's got that big pocket pair. Under the gun, making it 3 big blinds, triple barreling at this point. He has aces or jacks, aces or queens or kings. There you go. We'll never know. 86, not going to steal, but let's stay here. Now this player, 35-2, great player to steal against. Well, he's not folding the steals, but he is calling. He only folds 36% of the time. He is calling, and he's handing you bread and butter a ton right there. Great player to open raise when you have a decent hand against them. Something that you don't mind going post-flop against his calling range. And so I don't expect him to have a ton of aces in his range. He's calling with lots of suited connectors, offsuit broadways, suited broadways, small, medium pocket pairs that could be scared on that board. Nope, gonna leave. But the two players in the blinds and the button, wow, all unknowns at this point. Let's go to the next hand. Lag, don't have him color coded as a lag yet. Oh, I got a walk. I like it when that happens. Let's move on to the next. Oh, I should have talked about those players in the blinds. I just auto hit. I saw 7-4 auto folded. Now, this is a steal position, but two lags right here. An unknown nit is a good sign. He folds a lot. He folds 65%. Pretty decent, but I don't have any blockers to good hands. What do I block here? King Jack, Queen Jack, Ace Jack? Really not much at all, right? So I'm just leaving that one. Not a good steal spot, even though I'm in a steal position. This player, don't know what's going to happen before it gets to me, but he folds in the big blind versus a small blind steal 48% of the time. So he's not necessarily the best player to be stealing against when you're out of position against him. He fights for his positional advantage right there. So if I would steal with the queen nine, let's say he didn't limp in and I wanted to steal, I would probably have to make it 3.5 to 4 big blinds to convince him to fold. Then again, he's probably just calling. Let's take a look at his 3-bet. He 3-bets in the big blind 13.6. In the big blind versus the small blind 26.7% of the time. 8 out of 30. Yeah. So you can expect most of the time he's 3-betting. Oh, I meant to look at his call. 2-bet 20%. So if he 3-bets 26, he calls 20%. He's defending roughly 50% of the time, as you can see right there. Not a good spot to be getting involved with a queen nine offsuit. I would rather just fold if it was folded around to me. And I'm not even paying attention to the action. I don't know what's happening. 85, not in a steal spot, just going to fold. But let's take a look. Once again, two lags, 3-bet at 11, 3-bet at 13%. You've got to be careful when you're, like I said before, considering it a steal versus two players who do not like to fold. What is that? You're just calling, giving him really good odds. I guess you got position, but he's a really fishy player. He's only thinking about, I want to see the flop. That's all he's thinking. He's not thinking about what is the best play versus another fish and a lag player. 80 deuce, just going to fold. Nothing really to say here special about this situation. Let's see if we can't find some more interesting button and blind situations to look at. A fish and a folder, great spot to steal. I have a crap hand to steal. I think before I said 6 deuce off was a bottom 3% hand. Yeah, it is. Let's see what he does though. Oh, he just folded to the fish. I guess he didn't like his hand either. He had 6-7 off. Does not like to fold this, even though he looks tight aggressive. This is interesting. So 75 and 100. Going to fold there. This is the kind of player, 22-17, but hates folding to steals, defends his blinds a lot. He's the kind of player that Black Rain 79, Nathan Williams, calls a tag fish. He looks tight aggressive, but he has these fishy tendencies right there. Now, defending your blinds a lot at higher stakes, this is only 10 NL I'm playing today. At higher stakes, 50, 100, 200 NL. Yeah, you want to defend those blinds because your opponents are putting so much pressure on you. It can be very profitable because they have such wide ranges to fight back against them out of the blinds. But at the micro stakes, you want to avoid. The rake is high. The opponents are they're all over the place in terms of aggressiveness and passiveness. They're sometimes really hard to read. You kind of want to avoid marginal spots, and you don't want to be defending out of the blinds all that often. You know, save your chips for better spots, cutoff button, MP when you have position, or when you have a better hand to defending with 3-bets or calls. Now, Jack 10 offsuit, got a loose aggressive, 2 lags. Let's see what positions they 3-bet in. 3-bets out of the small blind, but he's in the big blind. He's a good one to steal against. This player right here, 3-bets out of the small blind. He's in the small blind. What is this 3-bet versus an MP? It's only 6.5. What's his squeezing at 16.7%? What's your fold out of the MP? I have 6K hands on him. Raise fold out of the MP 57. Yeah. If I had an ace, any ace deuce offsuit, ace 9 suited, ace 8 offsuit, I would have liked to make a 3-bet steal there. Let's take a look real quick at his raise first in the MP. Yeah, 24%. Oh man, wish I had a better hand than a 10 jack off. All right, let's go ahead and sit out the next big blind here. Ooh, lovely hand. Got a lag and a fish. Hopefully he calls, he folds. He calls, he squeezes. We come back over the top. There's a lot of good things that can happen here. Oh, and he folds. Now, look at that. So he calls, let's see here. Let's look at, oh, he calls 24% of the time in the big blind. He doesn't necessarily have to have an ace right now. I think if I bet 3.5, go roughly 2/3, 57% pot, whatever it is. He can easily call with the jack, a couple of diamonds. He can be giving me value here. He doesn't have to have an ace when he calls that. I can bet one more time and I'm still getting value out of tons of draws. King 10 will give me value here, and I have 2 blockers to his straight. So I'm going to bet 8 this time, roughly 3/4 pot or so, and he folds. Yeah, well, missed out on value there, but I did gain some flop value from that player. Alrighty, thank you so very much. This is a, well, I hope you, if you have Preflop Online Poker or my newest book, Post-Flop Online Poker, I have tons of action steps like this throughout both of those books. You've got to take action with this, with whatever I give you as an action step, and then I guess the reason why is because action is the greatest teacher. Just reading a chapter on strategies about stealing, that's not good enough. You have to actually practice stealing, analyze your opponents, tag hands that are necessary to review later on, think about different spots, think about player types. I mean, there's so much going on for just the simple act of stealing blinds in cash games, right? You don't even have antes to think about, but you can see I did a full 20-minute video here talking about so many different things that you could be focusing on and thinking about as you're stealing blinds. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up down below. Please subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.